Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on a term you hear everywhere, big data. But what is it, really? I mean, beyond just a ton of information. To get to the heart of it, let's start with a number. 4 petabytes. It's a number that's so big it's kind of hard to even wrap your head around.
And get this, that's not some far-off scientific measurement. That's how much new data, all the photos, the posts, the messages, that Facebook alone has to sort through every single day. That incredible scale, that's our jumping-off point for really understanding big data.
So, to make sense of this absolute tidal wave of data, here's our game plan. First, we'll nail down what big data actually is. Then, we'll break down its 5 key characteristics. After that, we'll get into how we manage it, how we turn it into smart decisions, and finally, how it's quietly shaping pretty much everything around us.
All right, first up, what exactly is big data? Because as you're about to see, it's about way more than just being big.
You know, at its core, big data is really defined by a problem. The information we're generating is so huge, so complicated, and changing so fast that the tools we've used for decades, like your standard databases, they just break. They simply can't keep up.
And where does it all come from? Well, everywhere. I mean, think about it. Billions of social media posts every day. Every single time you click or buy something online. All that complex data from medical scans, the constant pings from our smart homes and smart cities, and even mind-blowing data from places like NASA or the Large Hadron Collider. It is a constant, messy, incredible flood of information.
So, how do experts even begin to categorize all these challenges? That's where this really useful framework comes in, known as the 5 V's. And together, they perfectly explain what makes this data so different.
The first V is the one everyone gets right away. Volume. We're talking about that mind-boggling scale we started with. We're not talking gigabytes anymore. We're talking petabytes, even exabytes. We're talking numbers with 15 or even 18 zeros after them.
Next up is velocity. This is all about the insane speed at which this data is being created, and the need to process it right now. To put that in perspective, over 500 hours of video are uploaded to YouTube every single minute. That data isn't just sitting there. It has to be handled pretty much instantly. Third, we have variety. This is huge because big data is messy. It's not all neat and tidy in a spreadsheet. It's this wild mix of structured stuff from a database, semi-structured code like JSON that runs a lot of websites, and then tons of completely unstructured information like raw text, photos, and video files.
And you know, with all this messy, high-speed data flying around, you have to ask, can we even trust it? And that brings us to our 4th V, veracity. Is the data any good? So often it's noisy, it's full of mistakes, fake information, or just missing pieces. Just cleaning it up is a massive job in itself.
But here's the thing. Even if your data is massive, fast, varied, and clean, it has to actually be useful. And that is the final and frankly the most important V, value. Because all the data in the universe is completely worthless if you can't get something meaningful out of it. The whole point is to turn that chaotic flood of information into real insights that help you make better decisions.
Okay, so we understand the challenges now, but how on earth do we actually manage this data beast? That's what we're diving into next, the tools and technologies built to handle it.
When it comes to actually processing all this data, there are 2 main ways to think about it. First, you've got batch processing. That's where you collect data over a period of time and then process it in big chunks. A great example is running a company's monthly financial reports. The other approach is stream processing, which is all about analyzing data as it's happening in real time. This is absolutely critical for things like instantly spotting a fraudulent credit card transaction.
And all of this fits into a workflow that we call the big data pipeline. So it kicks off with collection, just gathering the data from everywhere. Then comes storage. The data gets put into what are called distributed systems, which is just a fancy way of saying it's spread across tons of computers, not just one. Next, you have processing. This is where powerful tools like Spark and Hadoop come in to coordinate all those computers to work on the data at the same time. It's only after all that we get to the analysis where machine learning can finally find patterns. And that leads to the final step, application, where those insights get put to work.
So collecting and processing the data, that's really just the technical heavy lifting. The real magic, the real payoff, is when you turn it all into actual decisions. Now we'll look at how we go from just a sea of raw numbers to clear, actionable insights.
And this is the world of big data analytics.
It's the whole process of digging through these massive data sets to find what you couldn't see before. You know, the hidden patterns, the surprising connections, and the market trends that can give you a real edge.
But not all analytics are created equal. They kind of build on each other, getting more and more powerful. So at the base level, you have descriptive analytics, which just tells you what happened. Then diagnostic digs a little deeper to tell you why it happened. But it gets really powerful with predictive analytics, which forecasts what will happen next. And then at the very top is prescriptive analytics, which actually recommends the best thing to do.
Now, this kind of analysis might sound like it's just for big corporations or scientists, but in this final section, we're going to see just how deeply big data analytics is woven into the fabric of your everyday life.
Seriously, it is everywhere. In healthcare, it's helping predict disease outbreaks and creating medicine tailored just for you. In finance, it's what stops that weird charge on your credit card. Every single product recommendation you see on Amazon, every traffic update that reroutes you, even Uber's surge pricing. Yep, that's all a direct result of big data analytics at work.
And this all leads us to a final, and I think really critical thought. This technology gives us an incredible, almost unbelievable power to understand, to predict, and even to persuade people. So as we all move forward in this new world, maybe the most important question we have to keep asking ourselves is this: how do we make sure all that power is being used wisely?